Margaret Warner. Now, the new book by a former insider takes a critical look at the government's actions during and after the financial crisis. The fallout from the crisis and those decisions is still reverberating on the campaign trail this fall. Sheila Bair was a key player as head of the FDIC, one of the nation's chief bank regulators. She worked with Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner, Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke, and former Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson, before stepping down last year. Her new book is called Bull by the Horns. Thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Judy Woodruff sat down with Bair yesterday. Judy Woodruff, Sheila Bair, welcome. Sheila Bair, former chair, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, thank you for having me. Nice to be here. Judy Woodruff, so let's just to get some background out of the way, who and what do you think is responsible for the financial collapse of 2008? Sheila Bair, oh, there's plenty of blame to go around. I think at the end of the day, it was greed. It was just greed that was. Thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased, unchecked by government and government regulators. This idea that this is all caused because the government wanted poor people to have mortgages, that's just not true. I think expanding access to home ownership for low-income people was a rationalization, but it was not the driver. A lot of people were making a lot of money, making a lot of irresponsible loans to frankly the vulnerable parts of our population that didn't understand these mortgages to begin with, and regulators didn't step in to stop it. Judy Woodruff, and, broadly, what is it that you believe? Thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. The Bush and the Obama administrations did right and did wrong to deal with it. Sheila Bair, right? Well, I think the missteps going up to the crisis really were both the Clinton and Bush administrations. I think that the three big ones are: we didn't raise bank capital requirements. We didn't constrain the ability of large financial institutions to use leverage, to use borrowed money to support their risk-taking. Instead, government took a lot of actions to allow investment banks in particular to take on even more leverage and fund. Thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Their operations with borrowed money, instead of their own equity capital. The Federal Reserve Board had the authority to set mortgage loaning standards across the board for everyone: banks, non-banks, mortgage brokers. They didn't do that. And then, finally, of course, and this was in the Clinton administration, Congress just said that nobody is going to regulate derivatives. The SEC couldn't regulate them. The CFTC couldn't, over OPIS exchange derivatives. The SEC, the CFTC, even state insurance regulators were told hands off OPIS exchange derivatives market, so we don't think. Thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. They need to be regulated. Judy Woodruff, so, are you saying government had its own share of responsibility for what happened? Sheila Bair, they did. Yes, but I would say this is because industry lobbying to stop these kinds of steps from being taken. Judy Woodruff, and what about in response to the crisis once it happened? What was done right and what was wrong? Sheila Bair, well, right. Well, I think, as I have said before, I really question the thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Bear Stearns' bailout was done in March of 2008. We were not in a crisis situation. We were in a deteriorating situation. I never have seen a good analysis to justify that. But I do think when the government stepped in to bail out Bear Stearns and support its acquisition by J.P. Morgan Chase, and Chase was requested to do that,